literally jammed it onto the stump of his arm after those guys lopped it off.
Yeah.
Which, how awkward would it have been if they had just happened to chop off the other arm, so Gene was just running around with like two left arms?
Well, that would depend on Olivia. That would mean one thumb would be going backwards and one thumb would be going forwards because they're both the same arm.
Oh, but then that would be awesome. Then he would totally be able to just spin his arms around like, two windmills.
Yeah, he'd have a lariat from hell. I mean, from heaven.
And it would be the best lariat ever because one of his arms is fucking backwards.
It's the God top.
Or actually, you know what?
Top.
Well, or maybe it would be more like all of the rest of him would be backwards. So the God hand is like forwards because it's like the God hand and it can't be wrong. Oh. So the rest of him is just backwards. So he has to like run around backwards and stuff. And he just points the God hand straight out and just runs into things.
True.
What if they had chopped off his head and she stuck the God hand onto his head, his neck?
Well, he would have a trifecta of arms. So
he'd be like,
if you look in chat for a second, it would look something like this. There. It would look like something like that.
Oh. Can you imagine if that was the last thing you saw? Just this, like, mute, horrifying, three-armed, no-headed man just wildly pummeling the crap out of everything.
It was the avatar of the God hand. I'd say I fought things like that in Resident Evil 4 from the Las Plagas, because when you bust their head open and the little, like, serpentine, like, parasite eaches its way out of the neck hole. So I think that's the closest approximation I can think of fighting something that appeared to have three arms.
And then Azazel or whatever his name is like, I'm not gonna let myself get outdone by genes. He chops off his own head, but then he just dies.
Yeah,
that's how the fight goes.
Well, he does tear off his own arm. That's interesting. Hold on. He uses the God hand, well, his devil hand, enough power to wrench the devil hand off of his own stump. And then he tosses it. Because he can't throw it with the power with the devil hand. Because he doesn't have that anymore. It's in the arm. It doesn't infuse him anymore.
No, he calls it the devil hand, but he's the only one who calls it that. It's just the other God hand.
Yes. Double shaman. Dude, we gotta watch Kung Fu Hustle again. That'd be badass.
I really do need to see Kung Fu Hustle. I have seen bits of it. I've seen the bit when he actually uses the what do they call it in the movie?
The Buddha's palm.
Yeah. And it just flattens the guy in the huge hand-shaped crater. That was awesome.
Like, the way he sets it up is that he jumps up to the sky, and he looks up at the clouds, and the clouds take the form of Buddha, and then he perfectly, like, centers himself after jumping off a seagull, and then he goes downward with, like he has his arms put together and he's going to go forward down, and then he sees that monster who is like frog powered, and then he pulls out his hand, and then he does that stuff where he flattens him on the floor and you see an outline of a hand. Oh, love that.
You know what we really need to watch is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
That we need to see Equestria Girl. We need to see JoJo's
What did you say?
We need to see what was it? I was about to say Shaolin Blast. No. We need to see Kung Fu Hustle, Equestria Girls,
I don't
and
need to see Equestria Girls.
oh, why not?
I think I will survive without seeing Equestria Girls.
Damn it.
But no, have you never heard of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure?
Oh, I know JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Oh
I
man.
actually I watched the bit where they introduced Dio. That was amazing.
Oh
Uh,
my god.
the water though.
Stands. Dude, you remember when I showed you that clip when we were over in Wisconsin of Dark Donald from the Mugen tournament? And he
Yes.
burgered someone to death like Dio.
The water.
McDonald's French fries. Oh, shout out to McDonald's. I'll probably be eating there tomorrow if I can shovel my car out.
Wow, you're really living the high life, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh man, can't wait. Oh, speaking of McDonald's, you know their crispy chicken tenders came back. The chicken selects. I remember you and your sister really liked them.
Yeah, but then I realized that the nuggets are better.
The nuggets are pretty damn good.
That's kind of their thing. Honestly, I have never actually eaten a burger from McDonald's.
I guess if you want a good overall just sample burger, just get the regular cheeseburger. It's really good.
I'm not really interested in eating burgers from McDonald's. If I had wanted to, I would have done so sometime in the entire lifetime I've spent eating at McDonald's.
Ah, you're a salad man. They have plenty of fantastic salads that I've never eaten. Oh god.
I need to finish Tomb Raider.
The newest version.
Yes, although I should probably get around to playing all the others since Steam sold the whole series for like $3.
Wow. Yeah, that's the Eidos collection.
All the
Damn. Oh man. Oh dude, I was showing John more of Artanelico earlier, which is like maybe an hour and a half worth. I'm gonna put that up on YouTube soon. That he rescinded his original thought of saying he'd rather play Artanelico instead of Symphonia, and now he reversed that after what I showed him a detailed explanation. Because there's like 8 of them in the game, and I skipped all but one just to show him what this game is about.
What is that game about?
Understanding.
Hmm.
There's no real way to put it in words. It's something you have to understand.
But what if I can't think of a way to finish that sentence.
Exactly. If you want, catch the stream or the videos of that. They're pretty short comparatively to FTL. And you can watch him losing his damn mind, especially right after we saw the snow fairy. That was an uplifting experience.
So you're playing the first Artanelico.
Yes, Melodies of Alemia.
Released in Japan as Artanelico, the girl who continues to sing at the end of the world.
This is the same game.
Artanelico Sekai no Owari de Utai Suzukeru Shoujo.
Sounds about right.
That's quite a title. It's not quite as catchy as Zero Escape Good People Die.
What game has that?
Zero Escape Good People Die. It was released in America as Zero Escape Virtue's Last Reward. Yeah, not as catchy, huh?
Yeah, Jesus, gets to the point.
Good people die. My beef with that title though is that good people don't actually no good people actually die in the game.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Well, it's got a like time travel plot kind of. There's like bad ends where good people do die, but the true ending is none of the good guys actually die, basically.
So the true ending is completely falsifying the title.
I mean, if you want to put it that way. Technically, it's a post-apocalyptic story, so technically everyone is dead, not just the good people. So,
Everybody dies, including me.
Ravatails are a manufactured race who were originally created to maintain Artanelico. They are designed
Yes.
to resemble humans in every way except for their lifespan and their ability to communicate with the tower. Our Ravatails are female, regardless of their birth history.
This is true. Only girls can be Raventails, or the easiest way to put it is Raventails can only be ladies.
Yeah, I think you've got it the other way around. So
Yeah.
all Ravatails are to lady folk, biologically, anyway.
If anything, something that bothers me the longest time, when I was looking at Orica's character model and like her photo, or like when she's like walking from behind, I thought she had a tail, but from what I was looking at it closer, apparently she has like a weird hairstyle that she puts like a sleeve on her ponytail. So she
Yeah,
has
that's a weird Japanese art styles for you.
she had a heart she had a hair sock, dude. How does that even
So
make sense?
is Art Tanelico another one of those JRPGs where you play like this, where you play a dude who doesn't really have anything to do with the plot? He's just kind of like the dude, and then the real hero is somebody else. I'm thinking of like pretty much every JRPG I've ever seen.
You do not know
Like
how right
pretty
you are.
much pretty much all the Final Fantasies. I mean, it was deliberate with 12 because they were thinking about Star Wars,
Oh yeah.
where you know, like Vaughn and Pinello are absolutely not the main characters of the story, and ultimately, and really don't have anything to do with the story.
Yeah, like it's like
They're just
Barks
kind
or
of
something.
along for the ride.
Come along for the ride.
The real heroes are like, I guess you could say, are like, well, there's Ash, of course, but there's also Vash, Vaughn, Varsh,
Bart.
Bosh,
It's
the night
Bart's.
guy. I
Oh,
don't know.
Marsh. Yeah, Marsh is pretty sweet.
Mouthwash.
Math Marsh. All right. One thing I'd like to tell you that might intrigue you to watch the Archanelico stuff, because I am not going through that game again, at least for another 80 years, is that the game sets itself up almost like a dating sim. And anytime they're talking about how a Raventail needs to get things done or get more powerful or something like that, it alludes to it like they're doing something else, like something promiscuous.
All right, so you said you're not going to do Artanelica.
I am doing Artanelica and Melodies of Millennia.
I thought you said you weren't going to play it anymore.
No, I am. I'm gonna finish it. I'm gonna make sure that Cherise understands what it means to fucking like when I told him, oh, I don't want to play that, and he's like, no, you should play it, and I'm like, you asked for it. I'm gonna see it through to the end
Hmm.
because I'm
That's kind of
spiteful.
that's kind of cool. Did you know they made up their own language for Artanelica,
Yeah,
the Hymnos language?
I believe so. I think they hinted a little bit of it like later on after you get kind of halfway up the tower of the Archanelica tower. Oh Oh boy. Oh, guess what year Archinelico came out of? If you don't already see it.
I don't know, but now that I'm reading more about the kind of visual novel part of the game, I totally see what you mean about the entire game is just like metaphor for sex.
I was trying not to allude to that, but that's kind of the way they're
Well, it
going.
doesn't matter if you allude to it or not. Like it's there, it's like right there in the game.
It
Like
really is.
you play this oaf dude who spends all of his time diving well
The
into women
Cosmosphere. The
into
Cosmosphere.
women. Yeah,
Yeah. He
I mean
dives
they're kind of women anyway.
sort of
Robot women. I don't know.
women robot roboticus. Oh man.
So does every is it like contractually obligated that every JRPG has to have just some fuck who
Some fuck.
who gets to be the hero basically just because he has a penis is what I'm getting at.
I'll tell you this right now. Liner doesn't have a penis. He has a set of balls and they are not on his body.
That that sounds biologically implausible.
It's more what happens when you don't. You'd have to watch to understand. Ugh. That. Ugh. Oh, speaking of which, I got a new cable. You remember the old TV tuner that I had when we used to play Bleach Blade Battlers?
No, but sure.
Alright, the audio cable from that would lead into the PC, that one was going bad, pretty bad. So I ordered a new one with like gold plated and triple insulation. It literally has no negative feedback, or it's just undetectable by human ears. So I attached it, tested it out. Now you can hear the game at regular volume as opposed to the first video that I put in that game when it was kind of whispering.
So is Arts and Alico basically is it basically just a dating sim?
Yeah,
Only kind of not.
you're very
'Cause
close to what it
I'm
is.
reading it and I'm like, so basically there's the hero who is just some fuck, and then there's like this like 12 girls or whatever who for some godforsaken reason are all give a shit about him for reasons
No,
that who could even begin to understand.
I think I think you'll remember that one time when we were going to that anime convention and someone mentioned that they thought they saw someone cosplaying as Orica, and I exploded because I was like,
Cosplaying as who?
Orica, one of the Rivatio, because I thought I heard Orica or Archinelico, and I exploded. Because it was around that time when I finished that game a couple months back, and I was so upset. I almost wanted to throw my PS2 out my 3-story apartment. So angry.
I'm reading the Liner is an energetic teenager and the main character of the game.
Yes.
He was born in blah blah blah. He is often reckless and impulsive, much in line with the archetypal young hero. So he is basically some fuck who is exactly the same as every other some fuck who has ever been the male protagonist of a JRPG.
Yes. Some fuck.
Well, it's like, like Cloud is a male JRPG protagonist, but he is not just some fuck. Like he is actually
Yeah, he
the
has his own
focus of
character.
the story. Well, more than just being actually having personality or whatever, the story really is all about him.
Yeah, him and the way he is trying to get through his problems with the Genova cells in his body, his problem with Sephiroth, and dealing with the extra memories of Zack in between him and Ares. And I'm not saying Aerith, fuck you guys who think that's true. and
There's nobody listening, Mark. It's okay.
it's fun. People
And
actually watch this shit.
it's supposed to be Eris.
Aerith
They only
supposed to
say
mean Earth.
they only say Aerith because Japanese doesn't distinguish between those two sounds.
Yeah. I'm just gonna be a curmudgeonly old fuck and just keep it as like it's Aries. It's
But yeah,
Aries. That's the
I
way
mean,
it was.
anyone who's anyone who's going to be that much of a stick up their butt about it, uh, if like Final Fantasy VI, then it's not Terra, it's Tina. Well, no, in Japan, they
Yeah.
originally named her Tina because to the Japanese that is a reasonably unusual name to sound special. But in
Yeah.
America, Tina doesn't sound like a special name, so
Yeah.
he
Sounds like
just
Tina
named
Fey or something.
Terra, which actually works better too anyway because Achilles is
You mean of the Sellies?
technically it should be Kiris
Here's.
or Kiris. It's because she's named after a Greek goddess,
Oh.
the Greek goddess of grain, I believe.
Grain.
You know the word cereal, right?
Yeah.
Cereal is the name of cereal is the word is based on that goddess's name.
Hmm.
So the only reason why it's an L instead of an R is just mistranslation because Japanese doesn't have
Yeah.
L or R sounds.
It looks like it was a double mistranslation. Like, because you could do it one way and then bring it back here and be like, oh, it looks more like this. Because I can see Kiri's, but going over there and then they say, like, oh, this is more of an L. And then they bring it over here and be like, oh, this word looks weird. Let's just make it this.
But her being named Kyries, a goddess, and then having Terra with that name, who was one of the Titans, I believe.
Titans?
Yes.
You mean the
You know
S word?
the guys that came before the gods.
Oh, that's right. Oh, you're still talking about that. Yeah, that makes
Where
sense.
their names come from.
Yeah, Titan. Sorry, I have Titanfall in my mind still. But that's besides the point. So yeah, one of the Titans versus the gods back then in the
Mark, you
Battle
really
of
need to
Olympus.
You really need to remember the Titans.
Uh, Eat you alive. Oh, goodness.
I guess it's just like but yeah, as far as the some fuck JRPG thing go, I really think that a lot of it is just like we can't have a hero who's like we have to have a hero who's just some generic male fuck because everyone who plays video games is some guy who is
Some
some
generic
fuck
male fuck.
who wants to have a bunch of girls pay attention to him even though nobody should ever pay attention to him regardless of gender.
Regardless of living or dead.
Like I mean, the Final Fantasies aren't really much of an example of what I'm talking about. They tend to be at least better written than that.
Yeah.
Um, Again, Final Fantasy 12 they did it, but that was on purpose. The other games though, 10 is a good example of they were so desperate to have some fuck as the protagonist that they literally wished him into being with bullshit magic.
Yes.
But seriously,
Oh
fuck,
shit.
fuck Titus.
Wait, fuck what?
Titus.
Oh, Titus. Let's leave that up for the horrible fan fiction like Little Boy Lost. Oh god.
Titus is lame. should be set on fire.
But he is. He doesn't exist. He is a dream.
I do like, I'm reading the lists of characters of the Art and Ellico games, and the hero of the first game is, the hero of the second game is exactly the same as the hero of the first game,
So
who is
first
exactly
one-
the same as the hero of the third game.
Wait, so Liner. Wait. His dad in the opening like cutscene was named like Leard. So I'm assuming that there's like a whole bunch of like a family tree of Leard, Liner, Leoid, or Lesraid.
No, it's Liner, Croy, which is not correct, but yeah, Liner, Croy, and Auto.
I'm gonna take a quote that you made on a previous one about once I beat Dark Souls, I'll have this insatiable urge to go and fight and play Dark Souls 2 because
You're
the
you're
grand
gonna
scheme
have
of
to. You're not gonna have a choice.
the grand scheme of things is that I'm gonna complete the Arts and Ellico trilogy and play all of them. I don't think I'll survive this time.
It's not all bad. Mary Elizabeth McGlynn is in the first game. She plays a super ancient Rebby Tail.
Ah. Is she Shirelia?
Let me find her. No, the character she plays is named Mir.
Oh, Mir, that's right. Oh man, Sharice is gonna have a fun time when he meets Mir.
And apparently, she's one. I guess she's like one of the antagonists. But in the good ending, then she, I guess, decides not to destroy the world or whatever.
Yup.
I guess her notion is she was going to gather the Raventails and wage war against humanity. So I'm not really seeing how she's the villain. Pretty sure that a race of immortal, all-powerful beings probably would do a better job of running the planet than humans. Just saying.
Maybe. Just a little bit. Rare materials.
Especially considering that they've got like song magic bullshit. They could probably just create life if they felt like it.
Well,
I'm sure that becomes a plot point at some point in the game.
well, the way
There's
it
somebody
works,
who's
the way it works for someone to have even stronger song magic is to have someone you trust go into your cosmosphere and help you achieve spiritual growth, so that you can craft even stronger song magic through tales of wisdom and different kinds of like finding out more about yourself and trying to really come to grips with your power. So it's all a huge metaphor to say that if you want to become more powerful, you have to be able to trust people and just let it go. Just don't have anything holding you back. Just believe in yourself.
so objection.
You got it.
So Mir doesn't have a cosmosphere, and she doesn't trust anyone, but she's the most powerful being in the game.
True.
So really, the lesson that the game is teaching you is that all the Revatails who are on your side are weak and lazy, undisciplined losers who need you to go in and fix all of their psychological problems for them because they can't be arsed. And then they need you to tell them what to do and decide basically everything for them because they're lazy and useless.
Hey.
And you should never like it's impossible to, you know, solve any of your problems on your own. You have to get someone else to do it for you.
Sort of, maybe. Depends on the Raven, you know.
Well, no, it doesn't. If you, the player, choose not to fuck around with their cosmospheres, will any of them ever get over any of their issues on their own?
You can only choose between two, and you have to go through the game and actually learn more about them in a really creepy, stalkerish kind of way.
Okay, so basically, if you don't fix their problems for them, then just nothing happens.
Nothing happens because you cannot continue because the Raven is not strong enough to compete with those defenses of the tower itself.
So basically, what they're saying is that the Ravatails, who are kind of like born and bred to be superior to humans in every way that matters,
Yeah.
still need this liner fuck to come in and solve their problems because by virtue of, I don't know, his penis, I guess, like, is he smart?
No.
Like, does he know anything about psychology?
No.
Is he good at helping people?
No.
So
No.
yeah, I guess it's like because he's a guy, because he's a human, I guess.
Okay, let me break it down for you. He was told by another Raventail to seek help. And his mission from the very start was to get information from the lower world called a hymn crystal. Since then, he has met colorful characters like Jack, who's a womanizing weirdo.
Voiced by Spike Spencer.
Very nice. He also has done nothing in the regards of anything worth of merit. He's impulsive. He tries to help out in spots. He just fucks things up. And you met this lady by the name of Spica, which, if you talk to her and you tell her, like, who cares about the price? I just want to eat a bucket's worth. Then she reveals that she's a black market arms dealer in some of the most rare and insane graph node crystals known on that side of their planet. That can pretty much, if you even can afford to buy one of those items, you can pretty much just kiss the game's thing goodbye, because you can just do everything and anything with just one of them. And you meet Krush, who's supposed to be like, I'm a strong, independent woman, but I sound like I'm 12 years old, and I wield a chainsaw. Ugh. Yeah.
See, the way that you determine who the real protagonist of a story is which character, if you took them out of the story, which character would have the biggest, impact.
Oh, like if you took this character out, the entire thing falls apart.
Yeah, like in Final Fantasy VII, like the story just doesn't happen if there's no Cloud. It just, basically, like, Sephiroth destroys the world, like 10 years ago or whatever. The end.
No. Sephiroth doesn't destroy the world. He creates it as a planetary husk to sail the stars so he can absorb more power from his body.
He's a weird guy, that Sephiroth.
He's just doing Genova's work.
Well, I don't know. I always thought it was ambiguous on how much Sephiroth was doing for his own sake and how much was for Genova.
Oh, that's the interesting part. On their wiki,
because to a large extent, they both kind of want the same thing, I guess.
Yes, that's the interesting part, because Genova can exact its will on other living organisms. But the problem is that because Sephiroth was part human and has Genova's cells, he had enough will to essentially overcome the will of Genova and essentially implant his will on whatever Jenova was trying to do. And
Sephiroth was not born human.
Yeah, he was born human by.
No, no, he was. Are you familiar with the the newer Final Fantasy spin-off games?
Oh. No.
Let's just say that they've got some pretty ridiculously stupid plot twists
Oh my god.
about what
Don't
about what Sephiroth really is and where he came from and stuff.
That sounds like other M bullshit to me.
And it's not other M. It's not like ruining anyone's character or anything. It's basically more like really weird, bad fan fiction. It's not even Final Fantasy fan fiction. It's actually Gact fan fiction. You know the pop star.
Wow.
He's a big Final Fantasy VII fan, so he's all like successful and stuff. So Square Enix like basically wrote him into the game. Like they made up this like new villain who's just Gact. It's crazy.
Jesus.
But yeah, they don't like steal like any of the original characters' thunder or anything like that. Like they don't
Thunder.
they don't rewrite Sephiroth to be like a whiny, traumatized loser who has to get other people to do who has to get Adam to authorize all of his villain stuff.
You can't kill all those people now, Sephiroth. You should wait till you can burn them alive.
But Sephiroth, at this time we have no plans to authorize the use of Meteor. It's too dangerous.
It's not dangerous enough, Sephiroth.
Sephiroth, I see that you are fighting Cloud and losing. The use of Masamune is authorized.
Sephiroth.
Yeah, it's not bad in that way. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, sort of like how Dirge of Cerberus made up like that whole like the whole city under Midgar that is ruled over by like the failed genetic experiment who wears a jockstrap on his face.
The sewer monster after the Don Corneria?
No, maybe, but no. He's like this guy, and he wears a jockstrap on his face, and everyone treats him like he's really scary. And one of his minions is like a creepy like lolicon girl. She's one of those characters that she looks like she's like 8 years old, but she's actually like 44 or something.
Oh yeah, forever young.
And they're like, oh no, she's a genetic freak, so she'll never grow up. And of course, so her and Yuffie like spend all of their time like awkwardly flirting with Vincent. And of course, Vincent, of course, has no personality. Like, he doesn't even have enough personality to be like a creeper. So he's just kind of like, huh.
Oh my god. Hate to do this, man, but it's late or early. We'll have
you don't want to hear more about Dirge of Cerberus, the best Final Fantasy game.
I remember when we were making a drive down to Sonic, and you just exploded with that. You had the biggest amount of, what's the word I'm looking for? Paroxysm? Just sudden explosion of emotion over it. We drove for like an hour and a half, and you were still steaming by the time we got there.
It's not really like
Paroxysm.
Paroxysm. I don't know. I've only seen it spelled. I know what word you mean, but
Yeah.
Dirge of Cerberus is like, it's a really bad game, but it's not like Other M where it like ruins Final Fantasy VII or anything. Like the story, like it's just like bad fan fiction, and it's just totally ludicrous. But I would hate to actually play it because the gameplay is like horrible and tedious as fuck. And it's also like half finished and broken.
That sounds like it sucks.
Well, it's basically you run through like narrow metal corridors and you shoot enemies, but even like the best gun in the game does like piss all damage. So every fight is just kind of endless and horrible and tedious. And like all of Vincent's moves are really awkward. Like he can jump super high, but there's never a point in the game when you can actually like jump on top of things.
What?
It's really bad. Just read some of the Dark Id's old Let's Plays.
You got it. Wow.
Yeah, they're all up on LP Archives. He did all the Resident Evil games before 5, and that in one huge Let's Play basically, and that was awesome. And he did Clock Tower 3, which was awesome. And he did Dirge of Cerberus and Nier and Drakengard and Drakengard 2.
Equally awesome.
Which Drakengard 2, by the way, I think is the main character is a deliberate parody of the sumfuck male JRPG protagonist, because he is literally the worst hero. Like, who's the worst hero you can think of?
I don't know. I can't think right now. My mind is full of Cerberuses and Elvis and frogs being squished with the Shaolin blast and the growing sense to get to the toilet.
Just read the Drakengard 2 read the Drakengard Let's Plays that he did.
You got it.
Especially considering the main character of the first Drakengard is the best hero ever. Like he basically only has one personality trait, and that is his endless love of violence. Like, his only motivation in the entire game is he just wants to kill as many people in as horrible way as possible. Like, the first thing that happens to him is that he loses the ability to speak in the game, but it doesn't matter because he lets his sword do the talking.
He becomes the silent protagonist.
He loves killing so much that in the second game he literally kills death.
Wow. So
for no reason. Have I mentioned that? Have I emphasized that? Everything that he does is for literally no reason, except just to kill things.
He is the incarnation of murder.
Yeah, basically.
Use him in my army.
Except he doesn't really have an army or anything. Like, he's friends with a dragon, and he likes her because she can he can fly around on her, and she helps him set people on fire. So he's like, you know what, I'm down with that. But besides that, he works alone, which is a good thing, because by the time he is done with any given geographical location, he's going to end up being alone anyway.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's pretty great. Like, one of his first scenes interacting with his oldest childhood friend is him basically slapping the guy to the ground and then kicking him while he's rolling around in the dirt for no reason. Like, seriously, it would be like if you were minding your own business and then I came over to your house and suddenly I was mute and you're like, oh hey, what's going on? And then I just beat the shit out of you and kicked you into the dirt. And then I wandered off.
The dirt pile that's in my room.
And then I just killed everyone in the state. On a dragon.
Jesus. Quite the puzzle dragon.
Drakengard. Drakengard is hilarious. They're terrible games. Actually, there was a So you know there was a Drakengard 3, right? That came out much more recently.
I had no idea.
No, it's a much newer game, but for some godforsaken reason, they decided that Dragon Guard 3 was going to be a giant parody of Madoka Magica. Like,
What?
it has nothing to do with the other games in the series. It's just a Madoka. Basically, the guys that made Dragon Guard and Nier just absolutely hate everyone that plays their game. It's like, in Nier, there are literally a whole laundry list of pointless side quests that they only, with no reward, that are only in the game. Literally, they only put them into the game because they hate their player.
How do they make money?
I don't know. Their company went out of Cavia went out of business, so I guess they don't make money. They do make games though.
Yeah, they made giant nuisances in the forms of.
I just love the idea that like people, like all the people complain about, annoying trends in gaming or whatever, and then you get these jerks at Cavia who are like, this trend in gaming is really annoying, so we're going to basically make fun of it by including it in the game and then making it the worst thing ever, just to punish our people who play our game.
Wow.
Because our mutual friend who wants to go into game development, I want that to be his philosophy. He's like, we were making this game, but the player, the user interface for the player was too good, so we fucked with it. We mapped the jump, and we mapped what would be a good. We mapped the jump and quick load buttons. We mapped the jump and quick load buttons to the same key. So, the first time in the game you go to jump and it just quick loads back to like the beginning of the game.
Wait, is that an actual feature?
It should be.
Well, I believe his alias went by the Hunter or Ganado Killer.
So is he gonna jump and like chop our heads off?
He's probably already on his way here. You know how telepathic he is.
Oh, that's ridiculous! Like,
yeah, that's pretty.
See, at this point, you need to when you put it up to YouTube, you need to edit it so that the "you died" thing from Resident Evil comes up.
Right on FTL, which we've been staring at for like almost an hour.
I like to think that the expression you've been making this whole time is the same as your Skype avatar. Just staring at the FTL screen in shock and horror.
There's yours. Mine is somewhere in here. Oh, I get it.
Your words cannot save you now.
You mean that?
So I've been rewatching. I was watching the Straw Hat No guys, their Let's Play of Majora's Mask, and I finished that. So I went back to rewatch their Let's Play of Skyward Sword.
Uh-huh.
That game.
Goody. I need to get sleep, man. I will talk to you tomorrow. It's been a fantastic stream.
We'll see about that.
Huh.
And I delete your computer.
That's not the first time you've said that, and I'm kind of getting worried because it does look like it's about to phase out of existence.
And then I delete Twitch.
Oh shit. So that was your mission all along, wasn't it?
Twitch plays death.
Psych. Alright, everybody. If you stayed around this long, you guys were fucking crazy. But we made it. We succeeded, and we've succeeded in probably pissing you all off. So too bad. Whatever. Come back next time, same place. Maybe. Whatevs. Archinelico for life. FTL for death.
In real life, I am actually a Revitail.
You're a Revitail too?
Yeah, I just have a really deep voice, and I'm not very good at singing.
Shit. Man, I thought I was the only one.
Well, that's the problem. There's no humans around to dive into our cosmospheres and
Oh,
make
that
us like good at things.
I'll leave it with this. You attract more bees with honey and not vinegar. Have a good night, everybody.